students. Today, let us discuss the brief history of English literature. For convenience of discussion, historians divide the continuity of English literature into different periods, which begins from the Old English period, then we have Middle English period, then Renaissance, then we come to the Neoclassical age. So in today's video, we'll discuss in detail about the Neoclassical age. The Neoclassical period, which spans from 1660 to 1785. This period is known as the Neoclassical period as for the great respect for the classical writers of the past. The writers of ancient Greece and Rome were imitated during this era. In this era, the writers adhered to the strict application of the rules, traditionalism. That's why this age was also known as the Neoclassical period in English literature. During this period, we have the Restoration Age, the Augustan Age, and the Age of Sensibility, which we'll discuss in detail one by one. So let us start with the Restoration Age, which began from 1660 to 1700. It takes its name from the restoration of the Stuart line, Charles II, to the English throne in 1660. The urbanity, wit, and licentiousness of the life centering on the courtship, in sharp contrast to the seriousness and sobriety of the earlier Puritan regime. The major writers of this era were Sir George Etheridge, William Wycherley, William Congreve, John Dryden, who developed the distinctive comedy of manners, which was known as the Restoration Comedy. Then we have John Dryden, Thomas Otway, and other playwrights who developed even more distinctive form of tragedy, which was called the heroic drama. So the Restoration Age has the major characteristics like the urbanity, wit, and licentiousness of the life centering on the court, and the Restoration Comedy, and the age of heroic drama. Now let us come the Augustan Age, which spans from 1700 to 1745. The original Augustan Age was the brilliant literary period of Virgil, Horace, and Ovid under the Roman Emperor Augustus. The leading writers of the time, such as Alexander Pope, Jonathan Swift, and Joseph Addison, themselves drew the parallel to the Roman Emperor Augustus and deliberately imitated their literary forms. So this age is known as the Augustan Age, as it imitated the writers writing during the original Augustan Age of Roman Emperor Augustus. Now we come to the Age of Sensibility, which spans from 1745 to 1785. This age is also known as the Age of Samuel Johnson. This age stresses the dominant position of Samuel Johnson and his literary and intellectual circle, which included Oliver Goldsmith, Edmund Burke, James Boswell, Edward Gibbon, and Hester Lynch-Thrale. This age is also known as the Age of Sensibility because it puts stress on the emergence in other writers of the 1740s and later of new cultural attitudes, theories of literature, and types of poetry. It emphasized on instincts and feelings, and there was a development of the literature of sensibility which emphasized on these feelings. There was an anti-neoclassical sensibility in this era. The major sentimental novelists who wrote during this era were Samuel Richardson, Henry Fielding, Tobias Smollett, and Lawrence Sterne. So in this way we have done the age of sensibility, which spanned from 1745 to 1785, which is also known as the age of Samuel Johnson because of the dominant position of Samuel Johnson and his literary circle in this era. So let us recapitulate briefly about this new classical age again. The neoclassical period, which spanned from 1660 to 1785, it covers almost about 125 years. And during this period, we have the Restoration times, the Augustan age, and the age of sensibility as well. The Restoration time is spanned from 1660 to 1700, which takes its name from the restoration of Charles II on the throne of England in 1660. Then we have Augustan age, known for the original rule of Roman Emperor Augustus, and it is also known as the age of Pope because of the dominant position of Alexander Pope in writings during this era. Then the age of sensibility because of the literature of sensibility that was written during this era, which emphasized on the feelings and emotions. It is also known as the age of Johnson because of the stress on the dominant position of Samuel Johnson and his literary circle during this era, which spans from 1745 to 1785. In this way, we have briefly summarized this period of English literature from 1660 to 1785, covering the Restoration, the Augustan, and the age of sensibility. Thank you. Hope you have understood the neoclassical age in detail, and the other ages in English literature after this, like the Romantic age, the Victorian period, the Edwardian period, Georgian period, modern and postmodern periods, which we will be discussing in our subsequent lectures. So thank you. Have a nice day.